Good day to you.
Good day, Ethan. How are you today?
Perfect. And you?
I'm excellent, thank you. Do you have a message for us today?
We would like to share the energy of this moment to more live inside of the idea of your intention that you set into the world, allowing yourself to be present in every moment that you actually experience with every person that you're with, to be able to live in the moment, to share who you are, set clear intentions with who and what you are and what you have to give to the world. You to be able to clearly manifest life that you would like to live and experience, need to have a true direction with the life that you want to live. Understand that things can change, but also understand that when you set an intention for the world and for who you are, it gives the universe a direction to guide you in a way that you would not be able to otherwise.
Thank you, that's beautiful. Perhaps you can expand more on setting an intention.
It's like a marker. It is a rudder in the energetic storm, the stream that allows the universe to guide you to a particular idea that you might have. Use it as a basic outline, a big picture item that you would like to manifest into your life, but do not be so stuck that it has to manifest in the particular way that you dreamed or could see it in your mind. Understand that these things will adjust and change as you go along. Understand that you're also, your dreams and goals can change as you go along.
Right, thank you. When you and I like the rudder narrative comparison. When you set an intention, do you set it visually, emotionally, vibrationally? What do I do to set the intention properly?
All the different things above that you just mentioned. Verbally, write it down. It's mostly about taking action. For action is the language of physical reality. It's those actions that you set for yourself to be able to have in your life. When you reach a certain level, it's more about setting a energetic intention that will manifest more readily. Whereas when you're earlier in the process and you don't completely understand how it works, allowing yourself to just have a physical marker or a physical item that attracts those experiences to be more readily available and more opportunities to avail itself to you to experience your life in that particular direction.
Thank you. When people send intention, but whatever they're asking for not coming their way, what could be done about that?
Understand that if it does not actually manifest into your life, it does not necessarily need to. It may be just the thing that got you to actually go that particular direction that you could not have gone if had you not had the intention to go that way.
So, for example, someone sets an intention of, say, I want to own a farm or be married and have children or whatever it is, and it's not happening that way. They shouldn't beat themselves up. It just wasn't.
No, no. Those things do not necessarily need to manifest in your life. You may have a child waiting for you potentially to become part of your life, but if it did not show up, it did not necessarily need to actually show up into your life, and it still may show up into your life at a later point.
I see. To what? Thank you. To what extent my intentions, wants, and desires come into effect in reality?
It is more of a guidepost. It is a idea. Many humans find themselves getting stuck on one particular idea that reality has to develop and has to show up in a particular way instead of stepping back and allowing it to manifest as it needs to.
I see.
It's more what you need, not what you want. The wanting comes from a state of not having and not being in vibrational alignment and accord with the particular object or experience that you would like to integrate or bring into your experience of life.
Right. One year when I went to Burning Man, somebody told me, Burning Man gives you what you need, not what you want.
Yes.
That's the idea. To what extent, um, eh, let me rephrase this. I guess we're speaking of a bit about faith or destiny if we came here to learn something specific, yes?
Beyond faith, beyond the idea of hoping, to the idea and the level of knowing. There are many experiences that you can only have inside of the physical life, in the idea of linearity that you could not have in spirit, have in non physicality, because you do not age. You do not experience different levels in that way like you do in the physical life. Many humans bring shame and have been taught to have shame around the idea of aging,
Yeah,
when in reality, your true core being never changes.
yeah. Thank you for that. I never thought about that.
Yes, many of you have been taught the idea of shame as being the thing that needs to happen for you to start doing things. Generally, with the idea of shame itself, is more of the idea of self judgment that you've held on to.
Right, 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 right.
If you're judging yourself for not having an experience show up into your life, you're judging that, oh, this needed to happen in my life for it to be complete. When in reality, it did not.
And then you'll judge yourself, and then it's all over again. Yeah, I see it.
Yes.
Right. So
Give
in
yourself give yourself enough leeway in order to have the experience of things manifesting, much like you set the intention to bring particular things into this particular transmission. And if it does not show up, be okay with that.
yes, thank you. I would say that the core of this is the self worthiness, the guilt and shame, and the the cure for this, the healing for this, will be self forgiveness and compassion.
Yes.
Yes.
If you don't believe you are worthy of having something in your life, it will never show up because you come from a state of lack.
Right. How come lack and not unworthiness has been imprinted on the Western culture so strongly?
It makes you easy to control.
Fair enough. Fair
Because if you
enough.
don't believe you're worthy of love, you're worthy of having an experience, worthy of having a life where you can actually be treated well, there you go.
Right. Right. So you give yourself, you give your control over yourself to others in return for some assurity of sorts.
Yes.
Yes.
We're here to remind you and to reflect back to you that you are worthy no matter what. We are not here to coddle you, as it were. We know you're worthy. We all know that you're worthy. We know that Channel's worthy. We know that you're worthy. That's why you are having these experiences with him right now. If you weren't worthy to have these experiences or to partner with him in that way, you would not be having these experiences. You guys would have repelled each other almost instantly if you were not of a vibrational cord that allowed yourself to be in alignment with the mission that you both have to share your understanding with the world.
Yes, absolutely. And a perfect example. When was this mission was decided on upon?
prior to the incarnation. But
And
understand they
yeah,
can change, they can grow, because there are many realities where he never made the full connection to me to be able to have these sort of interactions with you and with others.
okay, I never thought about that. Thank you. And other realities when the connection is different?
Yes, every reality it's different. Some realities it's much stronger, and the experience you had of it modifying and causing harm to your equipment was worse.
I see, I see.
In some it's much weaker, and he is in much more lighter state where he is more conscious, and it is more of a he speaks because I spoke.
I see.
It comes in
Thank
all
you.
forms. It comes in all forms.
Right. Ethan, do these forms of communications that you and the channel have, do they have to do with uh, you mentioned the frequency of 120,000 hertz or so cycles? Do they correspond?
No, that was more of the threshold he needed to reach in order to actually start and be able to start the connection with us. He's had to raise it through self exploration and internal work to be able to let go of the idea of caring so much through the pain that he has held on to for many years of his time. He has been able to raise it over time and through connection and guidance on our end and his end. We have made adjustments to him as we have been actually doing these transmissions. There is still some resistance in his internal world. That is why the connection is not completely clear yet, and there's still jitters in his movements.
Well, I'm sure it'll clear up when it does.
Yes, this is more centered around the idea of the theme that this particular transmission is set around, which is worthiness.
Thank you. Uh, Ethan, are there other SSANis besides yourself and the Bashar communicating with other people on Earth right now?
Yes,
Would you
more in
give
the
it
idea of dream time currently.
dream time? Would that be in the hundreds, thousands, millions?
Well, in the dream time, you are more open to larger aspects of yourself, and you're more open to experiences that you would not be able to comprehend when you're conscious.
Right.
It is not necessarily about the cycles per second because you are in more the non physical realm. You are by nature, because you are at that level in an altered reality. You are at much higher frequencies when you believe you are in your subconscious, which is not really sub, it is above your conscious mind.
Right. I get you.
So the idea that it is happening at higher frequencies, duh.
Right. Yeah, because
Because,
there's no resistance, right, in a dream state.
yes, because in your physical life, you have the idea of beliefs that play more of a role than they do when you're sleeping.
Thank you. That's eye opening. Um,
That is why you have those sort of interactions more when you're sleeping. That is
right.
why this sort of contact is happening more often than not while you're sleeping, because you
Right.
do not have the physical mind getting in the way and stopping you from having these interactions that do happen on other levels.
Right. Does the ego exist in the dream state?
Not as much. You let go and more drift up to what the idea of your higher mind, your oversoul, the more non physical aspect of yourself.
And in that realm, there's no ego, correct?
No, there is an ego, but not as to high of an extent as it is when you are physically awake.
Right. So it's more like a perspective.
Yes.
Okay, that's good. Thank you, Ethan. Absolutely brilliant. You mentioned earlier about self worthiness and control. I have a note here. Are you referring to large governing bodies, governments, corporations in terms of control?
No, not in the way that you're talking about it. Many of those corporations were born in the idea of fear, which is why they try to control you,
Okay.
try to feed you the idea of the matrix that you are asleep.
Right.
They use the idea of control, that your internal fears, to actually make you sleep more heavily.
Right.
They use your dreams against you by constantly showing you the idea of fear in your reality. Influences you to go a particular direction that would cause you to not believe you're worthy of having what you dream of, what you see for in your life.
I see. What have I here? How do we as individuals and societies move away from this current type of governance? We seem like they have almost everything. Like it's some cities, it's not possible to go to an independent. You're at the mercy of the corporation.
These systems are breaking down. You are starting to see on a larger scale as your population wakes up that you are moving away from these types of systems. As we said to you in the previous transmission, you do not want these things to happen instantly.
Right, right, right. Okay, I see what you mean.
You do not want these things to break down instantly.
Hmm.
You do not need your society to fall apart in order to build it back up.
Yeah.
Allow these old systems to fall away to allow you to bring new systems in, to create new systems.
Thank you.
Yes.
I've, I've discovered that here in Ontario, there must be around 300 farmers that anyone can go and buy meat from. Perhaps not on the farm, but at the butcher shop, wherever it is next to the farm. But you
Yes.
can actually go directly to the farmer and get grass fed organic beef that walks around and not being subjected to anything.
Yes.
And that's Ontario is rich that way, but that would solve 15 million people's problem right away.
Understand that the idea of moving your actual produce, your actual way of getting food to a more locally sourced food source would solve a lot of your problems, logistically speaking, as well. As they have tried to isolate a good portion of the actual food in certain areas, it has taken away from the vibration of the food that you consume and bring into your body.
Right. Right. That's very good. I wanted to ask you a bit about the future of money. I believe that in previous conversations it was discussed that money will stay, but I was looking at various options, whether it's the current system we have, or adding a layer of digital coin produced by governments, or adding a crypto Bitcoin of sorts, or
It will,
perhaps it's something completely different.
it will be a mix. Eventually, you'll move closer to the idea of more bartering. But the thing you refer to as money at this point in your evolution energetically is more of a representation of your own personal wealth, your own worthiness that you think you are.
Thank you. May I assume that in the future there will be need for people to hoard stuff as much as now, or maybe not at all?
When you stop coming from the world in the viewpoint of fear, you will stop needing to hoard money because you will realize that there's more than enough for everyone.
Right.
But right now, in your societies, it is necessary for certain individuals to actually have that amount of wealth because they will undo the systems that have been in place that have imprisoned people and stopped people from actually living. You
Can you
have
say
to
that again, please?
you have to be willing to allow certain things to fall away, such as believing you're not worthy. Understand that certain individuals right now, having the amount of money they do, is there to help tear the old systems down because that is part of their mission in this incarnation.
Let me see if I got that right. There are some people that have high wealth, and their part of our story is to help break systems down
Yes,
by building new systems,
yes,
by running parallel systems of governance and communications.
yes. They cannot be controlled by the masses and the ones that have been controlling the story up to now. This gives them the autonomy to have free speech and not be controlled like the people have been in the past.
Right. We are seeing some, not much, but some censorship of whatever sorts on even platforms that claim to be speech, free speech.
The idea of free speech, there do there does come consequences with things that people have been said that have said, and many of these companies, such as YouTube and other streaming platforms, they are private companies. Remember this,
Right.
and they are allowed on their platform. Yes, they do bring in the idea of free speech and freedom of expression, but they are private companies that can set guidelines for the people that actually broadcast on these platforms to be able to actually continually broadcast. You
Okay.
have to work with inside of the rules of the systems that you're participating in, understanding it's like the rules of a game.
Mm. Okay. Fair enough. Um, Ethan, I've listened to some channelers recently, and a couple of them spoke of an event, and an event that will shake and scare quite a few people, but not all, and will result in, if I understand it correctly, in the birth of a being named Pele, uh, and at the same time with some sort of a mass awakening. Are you aware of this thing?
Yes,
What is it?
Pele, the event that will wake you up, the event that will be there to show you that there are more things that exist between heaven and earth. You're still a couple years away from this.
And who or what is Pele?
She is a hybrid.
Ah, okay, okay.
She will just be born through a human mother in a way that is not normal. But this is still a few years down the road.
Would the
We're
mother
still,
survive the birth?
yes,
Okay. She would be. I see. Would she be born on Earth?
Yes.
Not in the craft.
No. By that time, more beings will have been come down to Earth and integrated into your society. The small enclaves that you will see pop up around your world.
Would they be children or grown-ups?
Some children, some adults. These hybrids, the hybrid children that you have been told about for many years now,
Yeah.
they are going to eventually come live among you. And their children will integrate into your society and breed into your population.
Are these hybrid children born already?
Many of them, yes. Many of them are very young. Many of them stop at certain ages in order to facilitate the contract they have with the version of Earth and the version of their parent that they need to be at to start interacting with that particular person.
But not on Earth at the moment?
They come in and out.
Ah,
They pop in for a few minutes, play games, and then they leave. They're not bound to Earth. They're not bound to the ships. They can go to other planets.
right. Do they have to be physically flown to Earth, or can they appear somewhere?
Many of them can actually teleport.
Right.
They naturally have these abilities.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And Pele, what's the significance of Pele?
In your history, who is Pele?
There was a famous Brazilian soccer player named Pele.
No, no, no. The idea of Pele, the goddess Pele, in the
I'm not.
Hawaiian Islands. The birth of the volcano. She is the idea of the rebirth of your species. The more outright integration, the more of an open channel to be able to connect your world through the heart. Because the Hawaiian Islands themselves represent the heart chakra of your planet.
Thank you. And Pele would, I guess, would lead people or guide or teach people.
She will awaken the heart of your people.
Would this happen upon her birth?
No, this will happen through her life.
I see.
The birth itself, unlike with the particular person who is born into our society, because we are operating at a much higher frequency, that instantly connected all of us telepathically through our entire civilization. Because you are still moving up the energetic ladder, it will take time through her experience and her moving through your world to connect your world.
So she will help people starting to have telepathic connection.
Yes, be more open to the things that show up in your life.
Everyone's becoming intuitive.
Yes,
Ah,
it is your natural birthright and your natural gift as a civilization to be telepathic. It was part of your genetics to begin with. Many of those civilizations that you hear of in the past, like Atlanteans, Lemurians, Mu, they were all
yeah.
telepathic in nature. Many of those great yogis, many of the people that actually stood as the role model as what is possible, they were all telepathic.
Thank you.
I am telepathic. I am not saying anything at all right now. I am just sending thought packets to the channel.
That's right. So would many or everyone have telepathic abilities like yourself in the channel?
Eventually,
Eventually.
many of you do have these abilities, do have the aptitude to be able to actually have abilities like this, where you can connect to higher level spirits, your guides, your higher mind, any of those portions of yourself that you don't want to look at. You do have those abilities, but it's like a muscle that has atrophied.
Right. And Pele can awaken that muscle.
She will help guide many people to understand how to use that muscle to start making it work so it gains strength and becomes relatively easy for everyone on your planet to actually have and use and be part of your daily life.
I see. Would Pele be born in Hawaii?
In this case, no. She will be born in another place, but we will not at this time be able to communicate that location.
Right. And I will would Pele be born relatively soon or maybe like 10 or 20 years down the road?
She is part of the generation that is coming up that will eventually be running your world. Eventually will be the bosses, one of the bosses of your world.
The hybrid.
Yes. One of the people that will run and help guide your world down a path of inclusion, of cohesion. What you have seen in your media over the last few years, where the media has pushed a certain narrative,
Yeah.
those were unbalanced. The idea that one gender, one energy must rule over the other, this is coming from a negative place, therefore it can never last.
Right. And when you say the hybrids will run the world, why is that?
Because they will eventually become the population of your planet. And most, not all, but most of the hybrids themselves are more collected in nature.
I
So they
see.
will naturally be more cohesive and work together. So it'll be
Right.
easier for them to actually integrate into your society and start helping many humans and many beings on your planet to integrate and become part of your world instead of trying to destroy it.
Thank you.
And eventually it will be the population of your world.
Right. In what form of format would the hybrid children come and how many of them?
They are currently a relatively small number of them in your reality, but there does not need to be a large number of hybrids to start the process.
And they will all breed, or not all, but some of them will breed with humans?
Pretty much all of them will breed into your population.
Right. And would that be like a thing? Like the hybrids are going to breed into the population and improve The genes sort of thing?
Yes, it is the next stage in your evolution.
Okay. Do the hybrids breed using sex or in other methods?
They do have sex.
Okay. And do they look more or less like us or different?
The ones that will eventually come to live on your planet more or less look human with some larger eyes, slightly larger heads, because they do integrate the idea of DNA like ours, DNA from other places around the universe within our alliance as well. They will more integrate the frequencies that come along with interacting with people like us.
Right. And they're gonna be safe. No humans will get mad and try to destroy them.
We didn't say that,
Okay.
but understand the world that they will land in, the things that would destroy them, the things that would cause them to not exist. Because remember, we can see into multiple realities. We would not waste our time on planets, versions of Earth, where it would not be safe for them eventually to actually come live among you.
Right. In terms of nutrition, do they consume similar things to us?
Different. They have different nutritional requirements that humans do not. Certain
What
things that interact with their biology do not interact with your biology correctly and would actually be poisonous to you.
what do they consume?
There are, because they have biology from other planets more readily available to them, they consume food from those planets as well that will be brought along and will be relatively nutritious for them to eat. It will not be relatively safe for you to eat, though.
Okay. Do they have a similar digestive tract to us?
Yes, but with a
Si-
few modifications because they are hybridized more open, more completely than you are currently.
right. What about the heart and the blood vessel system?
Yes, they have all those things. They have all the same internal organs that you do, plus one or two others that you will discover in due time.
Okay. What kind of height and weight do they have?
They vary in height from very short to very, very tall.
Okay.
It's a spectrum because
Okay.
the idea is they're integrating DNA from many different species to help with the hybridization process. So they express those ideas in many different ways that give them different abilities that humans currently do not have.
Right. So it could be that some of them will have a certain ability, and then another one will have a different ability, another one will have a different ability.
Yes, same with humans. You all have different abilities that allow you to do different things. They are no different.
Right.
And
What?
understand that the incarnations that will happen because of the hybridization that will happen to Earth over the next few hundred years, you will also have the idea of your future incarnations being these hybrids and this hybrid civilization that happens after this era.
Right. Because in some way they carry some of our genes.
They are merely shells that create new types of experiences for you to incarnate into.
The hybrids are the shells?
Yes, the physical bodies that they actually exhibit and reflect back to you are the shells that you do eventually end up incarnating into.
Okay. Um, do the hybrids have recollections of other lives or uh, contact, like simultaneous telepathic abilities to go back and forth in timelines?
Yes,
Okay.
they do not have the same level of amnesia that you do on your planet right now. They will have a recollection and ability to see into other realities and see other versions of Earth like we do.
Right. Okay, very good.
Remember, the technology that we have is a reflection of where we are energetically in our actual evolution as well. So the technology of Earth will actually reflect this state of being eventually as well.
Right. Good. What about their? You mentioned they could be very short or very tall. What about physical abilities, like doing various sports like we do, like playing football or basketball?
They will join in the games.
Okay, great.
Remember, they will come in many different shapes and sizes.
Yeah.
They will, as they integrate into your world, participate in the sports and the activities that you have on your planet right now.
Okay, very good. What about cultural integration?
That is why they will go through the climatization process and become part of your world. They will become part of your history,
Very good.
like you are part of our history, our ancestors, which is why we are here right now to help you.
Yes. Thank you. It, uh, why why was Pele mentioned and not another of these amazing hybrids?
A volcano, rebirth. You are going through the rebirthing process. Therefore, her vibration is being carried into your world to start manifesting her into your reality.
Okay.
Because when you speak about things, you give it an open space for it to actually have the potential to manifest. Whereas if you do not speak about things, it has a much harder time of actually manifesting into your reality. You have gone through experiences of saying, "Oh, I would like this thing to show up." And all of a sudden, because you have put your attention that particular way, such as we said at the beginning of this transmission, setting your intention in a particular direction, same idea.
Right. So Pele will be speaking. Will be speaking to people.
Yes.
Right.
But her energy is coming forward right now. Her vibration, her frequency is actually being brought forward into your world in order for you to actually have her in your world, have her as part of your experience, have her as the voice of your world to speak from the heart.
And that's Pele's main message.
Yes,
Yes.
because she comes and carries that particular energy of Hawaii, the heart chakra of your planet.
Right.
Therefore, she will carry that along in her vibration as she manifests through the world.
Thank you. Pele. Pele in Hebrew means wonder, magic, and backwards it reads Aleph, which is the first letter of the Hebrew alphabet. So there's a rebirth here, beginning from the first letter again.
Yes, you're starting over.
Yes.
You are you are moving through the idea of generation alpha in your generations on your planet currently. Yes.
Yes.
Well, there you go.
Is that what you meant last time when you said there's a new race?
The hybrids will be the sixth hybrid race. Yes.
And
Homo
the
galacticus.
and what would it be? The humans and the hybrids. What would that be called?
It will be more of less of the idea of Earth human. You will be more of person from Earth. The Shalanaya are the first ones who will come. They are the hybrid children. They will be the ones that integrate into your society.
Right. Shalanaya. That's the last or the most recent hybrid race, yes?
That is the first ones that will come into your world.
Right. How much of a human DNA do the Shalanaya have?
Quite a bit. They have more than we do. We are more of a representation of a 50-50 split between the grays and the humans.
And what other DNA outside of the Greys and the humans do the Shalanaya have?
The idea of beings from Sirius, the Arcturus vibration is carried along with them, as well as more Palladian DNA that will be carried in, as well as a few reptilian races that are part of our alliance.
I see. It,
More stronger versions of the DNA that you actually currently have in your version of human will be carried forward, and more of those types of genes will start expressing themselves through their physical appearance.
so they would be very unique looking or striking looking or very beautiful.
Sometimes, sometimes they will almost look completely human in nature, but eventually they will all integrate and they will all show up as they need to. Remember, this is all about need. What do you need? What do you need to have in your life? What do you need to have energetically there? Those things that you need to have happen will show up.
Thank you. What's what's the lifespan of a hybrid Shalanaya?
Depends. Closer to the idea or 2 to 300 of your years.
What would be the lifespan of a human, say, born in today?
After technology that will be distributed throughout your planet, closer to 150 of your years. When you are no longer breaking down physically, mentally, emotionally, and you can actually come from a actually energetically cohesive place, you live much longer.
Right. That's very good. Something to look for.
Yes.
Perhaps not for this generation, but for the coming, for sure.
More than you know, you will actually be seeing these types of technologies manifest itself into your world.
Well, that's excellent. That's the great best news.
But understand these things take time. And as we've said before, you do not want these to happen right away. You want these
Right.
things to integrate and naturally happen organically into your world.
Yes. Fair enough. I've noticed recently, and perhaps I'm wrong, but a lot of people, and it is winter, although not a very cold one. But I've noticed a lot of people say they've been sick recently. Um, is there something special, or am I just hypersensitive to this state at the moment?
You are becoming aware that many people are letting go and releasing the parts of them that are sick. So you're physically seeing the manifestation of the raising of the frequency. And because you are the correct vibration to perceive that these things are happening en masse, this is less of a negative thing and more of the idea of people releasing those things that don't allow them to speak their truth, allow them to live their truth.
Right. So in the process of detoxifying from beliefs and issues and problems and unworthiness, you will rise up, whatever it
Yes,
is, right?
that is
And
why
make.
you are seeing these things happen consistently right now. You are at the window, raising the frequency. You're not going to feel good because you are coming into contact with much higher frequency than you currently have and have been experiencing.
Right. But at some point, I guess it'll be done with, and we'll be at a higher vibration continuously.
You will be able to live more consistently there, but you still have many more stages to go through in order to live at that level. It's a
I see.
process.
I see. I see. Thank you.
We cannot express this enough to you and your people that the process is the point. It is necessary for you to go through these different processes around your world to decide what you want to be, who you want to be.
Right. And yeah, and that goes back to the point of setting intention
Yes. And the idea of worthiness. By
and
going
worthiness.
through these experiences, by going through the ability to have the experience to decide what you're worth, who are you worth, that is what you're going through currently.
Yes, thank you. And one of the best places I've learned about worthiness was from the dragon that you've connected to for us
Yeah.
earlier. There was so much conviction in the dragon.
Yes. That is the energy that comes along with that particular being, that
Right.
particular vibration. There are hints of that particular vibration in all of these frequencies and all of these transmissions because they were integrated into the channel.
Yes. 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 I was speaking with the channel earlier, and we discussed why we attract the same kind of people in our lives, whether as romantic interest or friend, or but we for some reason, and some of these interactions or relationships perhaps not that great, and yet we seem to or make the same mistakes in life. Why is that? Why are we not learning and moving on to meet a better person or not repeat that mistake again?
This goes back to the idea of worth. What do you believe you're worth?
Right. I'm worthy of a better life experience. I'm worthy of a, I don't want to
You
say
sound
better.
like you're trying to convince yourself. Know your worth.
No, you're right.
Know that you are worthy because you exist.
Right.
You would if you weren't worth it, if you weren't worth living, existing, you wouldn't.
Thank you very, very much.
You have been fed lies and propaganda for generations to believe that you are not worthy, you are scum.
Right.
To be of the higher accord, the higher key, to be in a higher resonance, to be in perfect accord with those around you, you have to come from a place of knowing your worthiness, knowing that your energy is to such a level that you cannot do anything but attract that which matches you vibrationally, frequency in your life at all times.
Yes. 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 Yes.
Use the world around you as a mirror to see what you're reflecting in you so you can decide whether or not you want to continue on with that vibration.
Right. Your reality is a reflection of who you perceive yourself to be.
Yes,
Yes.
this is a literal statement.
And those emotional ups and downs, those why so many of us suffer from it.
Yes, this is what's been revealed to you.
Right.
We're
I,
just reflecting back to you from your higher mind what you need.
Yes,
And if
yes,
you
yes.
need to know, because you are constantly connected to your high mind, you are connected to source, you are connected to all that is, you're worthy, pure and simple. Don't argue with creation. Don't argue with your higher self because it did choose to be here. You may not remember it, but you did choose to be here.
Yeah, I guess the issue of the worthiness and the what do you call the forgetting, the veil, are interconnected.
Yes. The more you raise your frequency, the more you raise your vibration, the more you live in accord with who and what you are,
Right,
you'll remember more.
right.
Live honestly, live completely in an open state to the point where you cannot do anything but be yourself.
Very good. Thank you.
We will take 3 more questions.
Thank you. It- would there be anything else you'd like to tell us about Pele at this moment?
Not at this time.
Is there anything we can do to prepare for what's to come?
Keep showing up.
Thank you. Is there anything I can do for the channel?
You are already doing everything you need to.
Thank you very much, Ethan.
Good day to you.
Good day.